to another episode of Brian Casa. I'm your host, Squeaks, and today I have the pleasure of interviewing my brother from another mother, Basu Kobina Degraft Johnson. He is the CEO of Anibok Studios. He is a Tema-born, New York-based filmmaker who's about to change the Ghana movie industry. So, hi, Kobina.
Thank you for having me. And, we're just trying to manifest these amazing words you just said, about changing the Ghana film industry.
Yes, I believe in you.
And I've always, low key, I've always wanted to be on your podcast. So I feel like I've made it. I've made it in society. I've made it because I've made it to the Brian Casa podcast, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so before we start, we're just going to do two quick icebreakers.
Okay.
So, what are three words you use to describe yourself? Don't be humble.
I'd say, being, whew, I thought it was an easy question, but it's kind of tough. I'd say discipline, discipline, being consistent, and then also being ambitious.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say those
So
three
you're
words.
disciplined, consistent, and ambitious.
Yeah, ambitious.
Okay, boss.
All day, nothing else.
All right. So, and my last question is, what's your favorite movie genre?
I kind of like romantic type stuff, but at the same time, I like horror. So because like growing up, like if you remember Poltergeist, I don't know if you ever saw those movies. Freddy Krueger,
Okay, yeah.
Nightmare on Elm Street type, movies. Like those always left a lasting feeling. So yeah, between horror and comedy, I like action too. Actually,
You just like them all.
Yeah, I like them all. Action, fantasy, sci-fi. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So, just tell us a little bit about yourself. Growing up in Ghana, how was it like?
Shoot, that's like super open-ended, but
Okay, so let's narrow it down.
Yeah, narrow it down.
When you were growing up in Ghana,
Uh-huh.
what is it that you wanted to be when you were growing up?
I think I might not have known what I wanted to be because that question is like nobody knows what they want to be, real life shit. You know what I mean? So I think my father wanted me to be an electrical engineer because he had an engineering company, but chemistry was hard. Science was hard. So I was like, yo, I can't do that. So I'm gonna go be an accountant. So I ended up following my mother's footsteps and just went into accounting. Okay. And that's what I thought I wanted to be. You know what I mean? As an accountant, the whole path, CPA,
Okay, so at one point you were passionate about accounting, or you just was like, oh, this is just what it's supposed to be?
It was more so the thing to do.
Okay.
Because we all had a educational academic path, and that path is like, as Ghanaians, either gonna be an accountant, doctor, lawyer,
nurse,
nurse, that space. So that's what I felt like I could excel in accounting. So, because once again, science was like, there's just too many, these chemistry codes and, what you call them things like like a chemistry table that they have it. Anyway, but I chose accounting because I felt like I could excel in that. So that's what I chose. Yeah.
Okay, so you did that while you were in Ghana or when you came to America?
I went to Presec, Presec, best school in Ghana, Let me say that first. But I went to Presec and I studied accounting there. So when I came to, like New York, I just continued that path with that. So I just went to college for accounting and I got my bachelor's of science in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So then when did you lose interest in accounting and decide to become a filmmaker?
So I feel like it was always gonna shift, but it's more so when does the shift happen, So as I was an accountant, I had been doing accounting for about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, and I realized it was the same thing over and over. Like every day is the same.
Repetitive.
You go repetitive to the max. You go in, my job was going, I counted checks. Pretty much all the big checks came through my hand for the company. So, and that's what I did. I reported money coming in, to the company, and then, entered into the system and, did the whole account process. But every time was the same thing. So I went to my boss. I'm like, yo, I want to learn something new. Like, because this accounting thing is getting very boring. And, if you know corporate system, it's like you get a review every year. And after the year, they will let you know if you are worthy of learning something new, because the more responsibility they gave you, it means that they have to pay you more. So I
Right.
guess keeping you where you at is okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that never happened. So I decided, like, you know what, I need to really find something else to really allow me to grow, because I think I was more concerned about growth.
Yeah.
So randomly, friend invited me to a happy hour. I went. Back then I had an iPhone 4S. So while I was out there, we met these two models. Thankful for those models, because that was what sparked the whole journey. I took a couple of photos. They loved the photos, and then one of them asked me to come to their studio to shoot a photo, because they was doing like, I guess they had an online store early in the game, so they wanted to put some some clothes online. So I went, I took photos with her camera, which is like a T3i, and then after that, she loved the photos so much. So we started having like a work relationship where I'd go take the photos, and then I realized like there's interest here, and leveling up in this field was on me, and it was based on the information that I knew. So I realized I didn't have to wait for nobody. So I'm like, I'm gonna rock with this until the wheels fall off, and then it just continued and spiraled into video.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's a journey.
yeah. It's a full blown journey, and you just gotta keep walking if you want to be on a journey, because you can't stand still in a journey. Like, you ain't going nowhere.
Okay. So how long have you been been a filmmaker?
I mean, it sounds mad cheesy, but I'd say all my life. But it came into
Give us a number.
yeah. It came into real life, like practical, like probably like I'd say in the last 5 years. Yeah, last 5 years. Like, my first time going into real video space was having a friend of mine ask me if I could do video, for their wedding. And mind you,
Oh, wow.
prior to that, I hadn't done video before. So, but I've been doing a lot of research on, how to really grow in photography. And I came across this article where it's kind of like, if someone asks you to do something and you don't know how to do it, say a strong yes, and then go learn how to do it and pull up and then do that job.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I just said, yeah, I could do that joint easy. You know what I mean? I went home.
With your whole wedding.
A whole wedding. You know what I mean? A whole wedding. Because I'm like, in my thinking, I'm like, it doesn't have to be that difficult. The only reason I don't know how to do it is because I haven't done it before. But that doesn't mean I can't do it. So I just went online, watched a lot of wedding videos, and I saw that there was a formula to it. And the wedding, they were happy with the work. So that opened up the space to be like, we can do this, and we just have to continually learn to really be better.
And so how did they end up liking the end result?
Oh, they loved it.
Okay.
They loved it, and that led to more wedding gigs. But then, the wedding space is fun and it's cool, but it's a little challenging because, sometimes, it's just a lot is happening at the same time.
Right.
And, it works for some people, but I realized that I loved it, but I could only be there, like in bits and pieces, but I couldn't be my full space because I loved more so, telling stories on a film level.
Yeah, weddings seem difficult because you had to catch every moment and you really can't.
Yeah, it's challenging. I wouldn't say it's difficult, it's challenging because after a while, all the weddings, it's kind of like, making jollof. It's going to come out the same. It's just like,
Putting it together.
Putting it together, yeah.
Okay. So what's your favorite type of, what's the word? Type of thing to film? Like, you don't like weddings the most?
I mean, I wouldn't say I don't like weddings because now you might be messing up my wedding money.
I'm sorry. No, he loves weddings, okay?
Yes. Don't mess up my wedding money, you know what I mean?
But I mean, like, do you like doing music videos? Do you like doing short stories? Do you like doing movies? Do you like, weddings, shooting funerals? Like, what is something that you really enjoy doing?
Interesting enough, I have shot a funeral, which was like very interesting because it's like, I guess people wanted to cover the holy veil for for funeral. That was a one-time thing because I realized like you can't really do a lot in that space because it's just like they want to just show the family coming in and paying their respects. But the types of video I like to film at this very moment is like music videos because it's fun, it's creative. You get to really think outside the box and create anything you want to create that matches the vision of the song. But lately I've been, gradually moving towards, telling our stories because, obviously we from Ghana. So it's like, but I feel like it's not enough representation in New York and beyond being, I guess, America, Europe or whatever. But it's just like, it's not enough because we've been here since like the early 70s, our mothers then had their own struggles when they came to America early. You know, a lot of mothers then did like live-in and all this stuff to put us through school. But what is their story? How did they, how did they move around? You know, when they came to a foreign country, not knowing nobody. You know, it's just a whole lot. So my focus has slowly been shifting to telling those stories, so we can appreciate us here. Yeah.
So do you think it's, I mean, well, obviously it's possible to shoot, I guess, like Ghanaian types of movies here, but have you found it to be difficult, like finding Ghanaian actors and actresses in the US?
It's once again, it's challenging because when you want to shoot a Ghanaian film, our culture becomes very key in it. You can't do a Ghanaian film without a person speaking Tree, Fanti, or any other dialect. So now finding actors that can speak it confidently becomes a challenge because everybody's used to speaking English so much, and when they get casted in like other other projects, they always are in English. So here I come like, hey, I want to do a film, but some of the dialogue is going to be in Tree, and it's a little struggle because people haven't really been in that space, even though they've been acting. So I'm working with a few people that I'm realizing that this is a space that needs more attention because now there's people that want to tell our stories, but we have to be able to be comfortably confident in our language so that we can be able to tell that story. Yeah.
Wow. So, random question, but what? Okay, you know how, like, for example, like singers usually start singing a song in the shower to get like inspiration. So how do you get inspiration when you're about to do like a short film?
I'd say the inspiration, a lot of it comes from my friends and my circles and people I know, because it's like I'm around a lot of Ghanaian folks. So I'm like, what are the issues that are, you know, are on our minds, and it's like, it's always marriage, it's always relationship, it's the, children. It's just a whole lot. And when you sit and think about it, it's like really the same stories that we have is not that much different from other cultures. Like, so it's just being able to really just focus on what matters to us and being able to project that in the films.
Okay. So, what's like a common? I think we had a discussion, and you were talking about feel like Ghanaians are very like sheltered and closed off, and kind of hide their true self. So, do you think that's something that you want to bring out in the Ghana movie industry, like us showing our true colors? Because I think we're so used to being reserved. It's kind of like we're married. We try to hide our true colors. We seem like we're so happy and stuff. But a lot of Ghanaians are going through some like
Real life stuff.
yeah.
I feel like it's the way we are raised, because you are only a reflection of how you were raised. You know what I mean? Like, until you really get to a place where you unlearn how you were raised and really find yourself. But from the jump, like, it's like we forget our parents were raised in a different environment than we have. So they were raised in probably like a whole lot of fear, because there was a lot of coups and a lot of craziness going on in Ghana. So you are bound to be, like in a fearful mode. So when you raise your kids in fear, you probably raise them, don't go here, don't do this, don't do that, don't do it. So it's gonna be a lot of don't do this, but it's not a lot of do this. Oh, you're good at this. Do this, do this, do this, do this. It's more of like, we know what we don't want you to do, but we really don't know what you should do.
Right.
So that's how we are raised. So we only know what we're not supposed to do versus what we're supposed to do. So I feel like it's a thing that as time goes on, gradually it's shifting, and people are realizing that with more information, obviously, people are realizing that I am different and I can find my own path.
Right.
So I feel like it's a space that it won't be overnight, obviously, but it's a space that gradually, we will live to see the, people start to get comfortable in their own skin, to open up a little bit more. So I think it's just time, because I mean, at one point I was doing accounting and now I'm doing film. So now I'm more expressive, because I can remember a time where I wasn't that expressive. I was shit. I was in a Ghana box
A
too.
box, a
Yeah,
cage.
you know what I mean? You know what I mean? A little wiggle room, you know what I mean? But still in a cage. And then after a while, you realize like you only live once,
Right.
and you have to find a way to live your own life, because you don't want to be 70 and be like, I should have did
I
this
should
and
have
I
did
should have
this.
this. My nigga's too late.
Right. One thing
Yeah.
I'm like, I had to do what I like is because I don't want to have kids. I'm like, when I was a kid, I was a dancer, but then I didn't do it. I became a nurse, and then try to force what you wanted to be on your children. I feel like that's what a lot of parents do.
And I feel like they do that out of, you can't, sometimes you gotta, shift to your parents' side and look, and they just want you to be safe.
Yeah.
And they just feel like they know what's best for you, but it's like, it's really not fair for them to impose their will so you become a carbon copy of them. Because if your parents are, if they came from that space of being always safe, 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 they might force that on you, and then they don't give you a chance to really, for you to become yourself. Because I was doing a couple of, I was reading some stuff online, because I read a lot, and then I came across something that said it is not right for a parent to impose their will so much on their children, so that their children become a reflection of them.
Yeah.
It's more so for them to guide that child so they can find what they're good at and then excel in that. And then a lot of the things, because our parents grew up in a time where it was like 5 things you probably could do. Either a teacher, a doctor, lawyer. So out of those 5 things, you don't know anything else. So
Right.
when you have a child that's wanting to go into a space that you're not familiar with, it's almost like, I don't know the space. I don't know anybody that's in this space that's excelling. So I don't want, and plus, we got this whole society. I want to go to a space and be like, oh, my son, he's a doctor, he's in New York, you know what I mean? He's this and he's that, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's a lot of pressure, and they all want they want the best for their kids, but sometimes the best ends up harming, or creating a wedge between them and their children's dreams.
Yeah, I think to me it's weird because I'm like, most parents, African parents, don't like their children going into the media industry, like doing acting, being a singer or artist or dancer, but they like watching these things. So like they have their own favorite actors, but it's like, why can't you see your child also being in that same light? It's like, oh, you see parents watch like so much Kuma Wood, Nollywood. They love it. They have all the DVDs, but their child says, Mom, I want to be an actor. No, 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 no.
Yeah.
Be a doctor. Is like, make it make sense.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they watching it from afar, and they're not close to it.
Yeah.
But if they had an uncle that was in the industry, that was getting it popping, it's easy to look back and be like, oh, Uncle so is doing it. So I think you probably could become that or more than that. But all they see is something that's far away, and they can't relate. And when you get to a certain age, I'm not there yet, but I feel like you become out of touch of what's possible. You know what I mean? So now I feel like with information coming out, a lot of the new generation parents anyway, because they've experienced something and they don't want to pass that down to their children. So they are more, they are more open with the options. And I feel like that's where we can see, the Ghanaian youth and kids and whatever flourish beyond what they did. And I feel like that's what's on the way here now.
Okay. So, talking about parents, you said that your father wanted you to be an engineer and you decided to follow the role of your mom in accounting.
Word.
So, when they figured out that you were like, scratch both of that, I'm going to go into filmmaking, like, did they support you, or were they like, what's why?
So interestingly enough, like, because I had decided that, as I was doing accounting and doing photography, because I became so much like excited, happy. I was like, I'll come to work on a Monday and everybody be like, yo, how was your weekend? I'm like, my weekend was popping. Because I probably shot a music video and I'm coming into work, you know what I mean? And then everybody's weekend is always the same. I stay home, family. So I was excited coming in. So I had signed up to go for another degree, go and get a degree in information technology, because I knew technology was constantly changing. So at least it would require constant growth, So, but in the class, we started doing this math. It was called matrices or matrix or some shit. And it was a little challenging, and then my mind was constantly on photography. I was like, you know what, I'm not going to excel here. Like, you know, this is a nice degree, will get me paid nice, very nice, but I'm not going to excel because my mind is on photography. So I called my pops like, yo, Charlie. I was like, Charlie, I'm gonna drop out, you know, and I was expecting like mad pushback and
Like I'm
this,
about to disown you.
yeah, you know what I mean. This man was like, yo, he hit me. He was like, yo, the greatest man in life, they achieved like maximum success because they followed their passion.
Ooh.
I was like,
Okay.
this nigga. Like, yeah. I was like, I can't even fight. I was ready for the fight though.
Right.
I was ready
You
to
came
lay
with
my
that
points.
energy, like-
Yeah, I was ready to lay my points down. So when he said that, I was like, shit. All right, cool.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. You know what I mean? Thanks. And then, you know, I just went and I just dropped out of college. And I felt like, you know, everyone that's majorly successful, you gotta drop out of college, you know what I mean? Even though it's my second degree, I dropped out. So I could say I dropped out
Okay,
and then I follow my passion, you know what I mean? I'll say more passionate, you know what I mean? So yeah, they gave me support. They gave me support in the sense of like, we're not going to, you know, bash you because you decided to follow this passion. But it was more so like, if this is what you want to do, Charlie, you know, you know, go ahead and push it in. And so far, it's been amazing because it's like, it really does work. It's just being, you know, disciplined, determined, and ambitious. Actually, that's what that journey is. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, like no games. Like you really gotta be about this thing, man. You can't wake up and be like, I don't feel like no. This had nothing to do with your feelings, man.
Well, I guess they were more understanding because they saw that you tried something. You tried going the normal way, and it didn't work out for you. Then you found something else. So they're like, okay, you tried plan A. There's plan B. So.
Yeah, that part, and also my family comes from an entrepreneurial background. That is, I did a little research on like my grandfather, my great grandfather. They were all merchants, like you know, and they really were on some entrepreneurial spirit. So I feel like that's part of our family, but it hadn't really been a message that my father was preaching because my father worked for himself. Like he had his own company. So that's exactly. So, you know, bosses raise bosses, you know, so I just came up on that path and, you know, he saw that as I gave him my idea and what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And he just, you know, gave me his blessing kind of. And then it's been going. Still major challenges though, but it's like, I mean, that's part of the being an entrepreneur. It's just challenges every day, solving problems every day.
So, I know you have siblings. Are any of your siblings in the entertainment media field?
My older brother, he's a writer. Surprisingly, you know, he writes. So he actually wrote one of my shorts that I filmed. So you know, that's gonna be coming out probably 2021. Okay. And it's really, it's really dope. And I'm like, I didn't even know he write like that. You know what I mean? So I saw that. I'm like, I'm starting to see this like, you know, the Degraft Johnson brothers thing where it's like, you know, the brothers, you know, one is a writer, one is in production, and then my younger brother, you know, Kwame, he's like into marketing heavy. Like he the boss of all bosses, you know what I mean? So, you know, he really the boss of all bosses. Like he runs the family, everything. So yeah, you know, like.
So you already got it down packed.
Got it down packed.
You got
like,
one team.
It's forming, and it's like once it's formed and it's like really nice and tight. Like you know, like we're gonna blast off.
Wow. So I know that you're you're going to move to Ghana and start doing films in Ghana. So you were there during Corona season for quite some time. So what did you see in Ghana, like when it came to like the movie industry? What challenges did you see? What things did you see? When you were in Ghana.
I feel like okay, so while I was in Ghana, which was really, you know, pandemic type stuff, but it's really been like, you know,
a
blessing because I'm always I like Game of Thrones, you know, and there's this character named Littlefinger, you know, and he was just like, yo, chaos is a ladder. In that moment, I was like, this man has he's onto something because when chaos is happening, you can focus on yourself and, you know, build your own ladder to rise up. So while I was in Ghana and all this thing was happening, I realized that I can always constantly create, you know, create with my people in Ghana because I was out there for 8 months. And in that moment, in that time, I realized that there are talent and there are people hungry and ready to, work. They just looking for the opportunity.
Right. Yep.
There's so much, like, I feel like Ghana is just full of creatives. It's probably like maybe 80% creatives,
Yeah, I
20%,
think so
on the other
too.
side. But it's just so that it's in a way, we don't have the platforms that allow the creatives to, like, like, like a level up on. So myself coming back into my community, I realized that I could play a role of, not allowing, but working with these young creatives to tell these stories. And everybody's been super hype, and like I can tell that they're ready to put in the work to really, just grow in what they believe in.
They just need somebody that believes in them and is ready
Yeah.
to support them.
Yeah, and it's just like, I come with the fire. So I mean, most people that know me is like, when I pull up, it's time to work. Like
Energy.
El Chapo, you know what I mean? Like if
Oh,
you
El Chapo.
yeah, and it's because it's like, because we have to realize that, like, on some real life shit, we are real life behind a lot. Even though we wake up like everybody else, we are behind a lot. And the only way we can catch up is by working harder than everybody and smarter than everybody to just catch up to a place where, our work can allow us to live the way we want to live. Like real life, we are behind. We're not, waking up like everybody, but we're not
moving.
We're not. No. Like we're not like we still living in places where sometimes the power might go off. Like, you know what I mean? Like you literally editing and then the power goes off. So at that moment, you can't do nothing. But that don't stop me. I take a book and I read because I still need that time to be productive.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah, because it's only 24 hours. You know what I mean? Like you sleeping about 8, waking up. You got to bullshit a little bit. You know what I mean? You got to bullshit a little bit. You know what I mean? And then the rest of the hours got to be productive. So I'm always making sure that whatever time I have that I'm not doing production, I'm putting it towards something that still is part of the process to to be great.
Do you even sleep? Because I feel like you are always up, always working. You be like, yo, I got this project coming up. Oh, I got this project coming up. I'm like, okay, when do you sleep?
I do get rest and I do sleep. I do get my 8 hours and I take naps and all that. But it's just like, it just so happened that by the time I wake up, you're probably sleeping. So by the time I take my nap and come back, like I'm well charged and someone is just waking up.
Right.
Because we have a lot of time on our hands daily, but you'd be surprised how much time we waste, and then how much things we talk about we want to do. And well, not the secret, but I felt like what has worked for me is just by like doing a little bit every day. You know what I mean? Like my father used to tell me this stuff. I'd be like, yo, this man is just talking. He's like,
you know what he was talking about.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? He's like, if you do more today, you do less tomorrow, right? Which in real life means every day you're gonna do more. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
but it sounds good.
It sounds good,
makes
but
sense.
then when you follow it, it's kind of like every day you have to just do more, and that's it. Like you don't have to finish it; you just have to do enough to move that that agenda forward. And I think once I tapped into that, I realized that like we have the potential and the capacity to be, to be the best version of ourselves that we see. We just have to do the work. You can't skip the work. Ain't no skipping the work. Like you can't pray about the work and not do the work. Like
you can't be at church 24/7 praying and not working.
Nah. God is like, yo, thank you for them prayers, but I still need you to
get to work.
You know what I mean? So it's like we just have to make sure there's a fine balance between what we want and then the work.
So I mean, I've seen you behind the scenes and it's like stressful. One time I thought I was gonna be a Kuma Wood actress. Like I always wanted to play like a house girl role, but when I saw how it was behind the scenes, I'm like, this is really stressful. I think it's fun, but it's a lot of hard work. Like I didn't think, I don't know, I didn't think like filmmaking was that I guess detailed, like mad. It could be stressful depending on who's on your team. But what ways do you like de-stress?
I'd say I come in like, say if I'm coming onto the set, I have to understand that I'm in the position of the leader. I'm in the position of the boss. So my energy is what is going to carry the whole day. So if I come into this shit all messed up, it's going to make my whole set be messed up. So, and a lot of what I've learned and what I've experienced is like from other people's set, it's like you have to be very, communicative and very patient with everybody, because you might tell people to go left, and people might ask you, "Are we going like? Did you say right or did you say left?" And it's like, it's just being patient, because at the end of the day, everyone that came that day, they came for a purpose, and the fact that they're here means they want to be part of the program to move forward. So it's just really being patient with everyone and just making sure that everyone knows what they're supposed to do, and then keyword is patience.
Okay.
Yeah, keyword is patience, because at the end of the day, you being stressed out is not gonna allow your talent to feel confident in what they're doing. And you don't want your talent that is acting is like feeling a sorts of way, and then they don't deliver properly. So it's really being patient with your actors and making sure that your team and everybody's on the same page. Keyword is same page. Same page is like same page. Yeah.
I call him, well, I think he called himself El Chapo, because behind the scenes he's like, do this, do that, do that, do that, and you don't see him smile, but then as soon as he's done rolling, he's like so I'm like, oh, okay.
I
Like,
mean,
it's
yeah.
cool to see, because you're like, okay, I'm about my business and it has to be this way, and I want it to be this way, so let's make it this way, or I'm
Yeah.
gonna let loose.
Yeah. Because the real reason, not the real reason, but it becomes like we all have different versions of ourselves. When you go to work, you might have your white voice and shit. You know what I mean? That's
Code
you.
switching.
Exact code switching. So, but then it becomes like, I wouldn't say difficult, but the word again is challenging. But because you are used to knowing all these people as friends, so when we get into a workspace, we all have to let the friends thing put to the side and get into our work versions, and sometimes those lines get blurred. So I on the other hand have to make sure that this is the work version of me you're talking to, and not the cool version or whatever. You know what I mean? But it's just having to make sure that we are all on the same page, and knowing that we are here for a purpose, and why we are here is to create a project, so that the project, because the project is bigger than all of us, so making sure that the project comes out the way we wanted it to come out.
Okay. I think something I really like, I look up to about you is that you can be like cool with him, but like when it comes to business, it's business. Like, there's some people that do business and they bring their friends on the team and their cousins, and so they let them just be wilding out, but they're not strict on them, because it's like people are so offended, like, oh, he was rude to me or he talked to me this way, but it's kind of like, it's just business, like, you know what I mean? So I really look up to that, because I'm like, you keep it in order. It's like no hard feelings. Like, let's just get this done, and then after we can like drink, we can dance or whatever.
Because it's because a lot of people are coming. You have your talent, you have your production, you have, and everybody's coming. So when everybody's here, it's just like you don't want to waste nobody's time.
Right.
So you just want to make sure that if we're here for 8 hours, shoot, I'd rather you be here for 7 hours than 8, and then you could go home and be like, yo, I came on this set, it was fun, it was that, I went home, the project is amazing,
Right.
and then everybody's happy, because that's what makes people want to come back and work with you again. And I try. It's a small team, so my goal is always to make sure that we are being efficient and not wasting anyone's time.
Okay. So, filmmaking to the side, what other things do you have interest in? Like, what do you like to do for fun?
I mean, real life. I say real life a lot, I know, but real life meaning like it's happening now. But I'm into music, you know what I mean, but not more so the creation of music. I'm a fan of music,
Okay.
like Chase is one of my favorite artists.
Shout out to Chase.
You know what I mean, and I also like. I'm actually working in music behind the scenes, working with a few artists, because they have great sounds, and I feel like the world needs to hear, what they're working on, and also, they're from Ghana, so I'm always supporting everything Ghana.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
love Ghanaians.
Yeah,
You love
yeah,
supporting. He always put
yeah,
everybody on.
You have to, because it's like I learned from America. It's like we all we got. You know what I mean? I feel like they've come. African Americans have learned how to be together to a certain degree, and we have to look to that and take that formula and take that back home and be able to apply that to ourselves and be like, look, man, they making it happen on some togetherness level. Like right now, it's like ain't nothing like Buy Black, because Buy Black is heavy to the point where when you go on websites it says Black owned.
Black
so
owned.
You know what I mean? So it's like, actually, I like that for a hoodie that say Black owned. Don't steal my shit though.
Coming soon.
You know what I mean? I like that, just Black owned. You know what I mean? Black owned. Yeah. So I feel like yeah, learning that and taking that back home. But yeah, music and really reading. I mean, as far as fun, I do some hiking.
Do you do some dancing?
I'm still working on that. I got my
Some
Millie
two
rocked
step?
out. You know what I mean? Like
Hey,
I'm still working
hey.
on that. I think that one is cool. So now I just gotta learn the whole, shaku and all this other
Wait, I don't
stuff
know what
and
this one is.
like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm a little late in that space,
Okay.
but
You gonna catch up.
yes, and I feel like I'm already, I'm African, so it's in my DNA to dance. I just have to activate it. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Activation. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, that's a few things that I do.
Okay. So, what is one motto that you go with? Like your daily motto that you tell yourself, maybe like every day or before you go on set? What is something that you tell yourself to encourage yourself?
Um, so one of my daily mottos is like, I have a few,
Mm-hmm.
but every day is a good day to boss up. You know what I mean? Every
Ooh.
day, I think I got that from Rick Ross. It's like every day is a good day to boss up
Every
because
day is a good day to
every
boss
day,
up.
yeah, because like I'm into film.
Mm-hmm.
Film is a journey. Like you can't know everything today,
Mm-hmm.
but if every day you are watching a video, because
Mm-hmm.
YouTube is out there, you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're watching a video about something in your process to make it more efficient,
Mm-hmm.
you're definitely about to boss up in that space.
Right.
So every day, if I have if I have any free time, I probably
Mm-hmm.
just watch, one video, two videos, and you just learn, little things, watching old directors work, or even the beginning of cinema, the beginning of like sound, and it's just a whole lot of process. So really just always learning, continuing learning, because actually one thing I also realized when I worked at a law firm as an accountant was like
Mm.
the lawyers always had this thing called continuing education,
Okay, yeah. Always
continuing
learning.
with the ing, which is
Mm-hmm.
like it was ongoing, and I'm
Yeah.
like, what the hell is that? So outside of that, now I realize that continuing education was, in my space, is more so like constantly being updated with the new technology
Mm-hmm.
that's in film, and
Right.
just making sure that I'm not behind, because
Mm-hmm.
one thing you can really mess yourself up with is like get behind and
Mm-hmm.
you get wiped out.
And being stuck in your old ways.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because this thing is beyond me. This is a thing that is really gonna be on something, because now we heavy on generational wealth. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But we all speak about generational wealth, but it's
Mm-hmm.
more so how do we create generational wealth? And
Mm-hmm.
if you create it, how do you pass it down? That's a whole different story.
Okay.
But creating generational wealth is making sure that, like, you create, not to get so much into generational wealth conversation, but you create a product that can live after you die,
Right.
that can always generate money.
So, for example, Anibok Studios.
Anibok Studios, and then when we create films, like, like we still watching films from like 1955,
Yep.
1960, 1970s.
Mm-hmm.
Those actors, filmmakers, whoever at that time, if they live in, great, but if not,
Past and gone.
it's continually going to earn money.
Mm-hmm.
And the more films you have out there, the more you earn.
Mm-hmm.
And we're living in a time where it's like in the digital media, so the possibilities are endless.
Okay, wow. That was a lot.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was deep.
Oh, that was deep. That was deep. I ain't trying to get deep, but I think I
Okay.
take deep. You know what I mean? But
So, do you believe that that you found your purpose?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I feel like I really found my purpose. Now it's in a space of more like making it known that this is our purpose and this is why we're here. Because I feel
Mm-hmm.
like our history. Because even I ain't gonna lie, like like I have this thing here, Sankofa. I don't know if you know, but it's Sankofa because
Tell the
apparently
people.
it's two signs.
Uh-huh.
There's the one that we all know, that's the bird looking back.
Mm-hmm.
And then this is also a sign that represents Sankofa, which is like go back and get it. And I
Mm-hmm.
feel like our history, we in a space where we kind of like playing with it. We don't want to know it, but we still want to
Mm-hmm.
move forward.
Yeah, right.
So we low key lost.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like with film allows us to retell stories,
Our
and there is no better way
stories.
to retell our history through films. So it
Right.
allows us to bring more awareness to our history. That is us, because this is where we came from.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like, yeah, my purpose is really telling these stories and bringing awareness to our history, because I don't know, don't quote me on all these things. I know what it feel like, but it says like a people that don't know where they are from will be lost forever, something in that space.
That sounds
But
about right.
yeah, so I feel like we need to know where we really came from.
Right.
We really our history, and and be able to pass it down. And it comes down to the language of tree, where it's like, I mean, some of us don't know how to communicate in that language, and it's kind of like what happened there. Because I feel like if we never address those things, we will continue to push the problem to next generations. Whereas it's like we need to address why some of our brothers and sisters are not able to speak our home language, and find a way to bring them back into the fold, because language is power.
I feel triggered.
I mean,
but I'm working
good.
on my tree. Okay, Brian Casa. That's a start.
I mean, all you need is a start, and every day it's like every day learn a new word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's it. Because the language is very interesting. All of a sudden, you can speak it, and you're like, but you constantly practiced it. Without constant practice, Charlie,
you can't do anything.
It ain't gonna happen.
Wow.
It ain't gonna happen.
Wow. I'm really happy that I got the chance to interview you today, because I know soon I'm not going to be able to get in contact with you because you're going to be all over the world.
Oh, nah. You always get the exclusive. Like,
actually, no, I'm going to be part of the team. Look out for me too.
Yeah.
But tell us about any upcoming projects that you want us to watch out for.
Okay, so there's like, we have a lot of projects in the works, you know what I mean? Like, we just finished filming Chain Link, a short film, and I don't want to say too much about it, but it's gonna be coming out 2021, and we have a lot of great stories in the work. Like, when I say great, it's really like I'm even amazed with the stories that we are telling, and I think it's really gonna allow people to be represented, in these films, because I feel like sometimes our films are so left and so right, but we're not really able to capture the like other people. And I feel like that's where I want to be, to tell the stories of the my Ghana people, especially people from Tema, because it's in Tema we trust, you know what I mean? All day. So yeah.
Team
yeah.
Kumasi, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's where it's at. But yeah, we have a lot of work coming up, and it's gonna be an exciting 2021.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you all over. They're gonna be like, there's a new guy in Ghana who's taking over everything. I'm like, oh, I know him. I interviewed him. Yeah,
we're here.
Where can we find you on social media?
So social media is Anibok Studios. That's ANIBOK STUDIOS. And that's Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, and that's the social media.
All right, so thank you so much for being my guest today. I feel honored.
No, thank you. I feel honored on being a thing. I told you, I feel like I made it. I finally made it to this podcast, because I'm always used to watching it and hearing it. I'm like, finally, I'm a brand. Hold up, let me take that back. I'm a Brian Casa official guest.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. And guys, he's super nice, besides the El Chapo part, but he's super nice. He likes to listen to people's stories. So I feel like you guys should reach out to him if you have a project, an idea. You can act, you can sing. Even if you can't act, he'd be like, I could teach you, I could train you. So I just feel like, feel free. He's not gonna leave the DMs unread. Okay. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I hope you enjoyed it like I did. So bye.